I remembered. I'm recording. Okay. Sounds good. I'm planning to hold office hours during the weekend. I will not be here tomorrow. I'm going to be driving down south for the whole day tomorrow. I have no idea when I'm going to be back. It's kind of like an urgent trip. I have to go. So I am planning to hold office hours during the weekend, one for Chem8 and one for 129A, my lab, and we can discuss things during that time. Okay, whatever is in your mind. All right, let's talk about some science. I think this pen is working fine. Yeah. Where's my green? There is my green and the blue. Okay. So this is Chem8, Tuesday, Thursday, fall 20. This is a brand new pen, my favorite brand. And today is 10/22/2020. Focused? Yeah. The camera gave me a lot of heartburn this morning. I was recording a video for lecture for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday class for tomorrow, and it just kept going out of focus. Okay, we're talking about alkane nomenclatures, and as I said, you just have to learn it. Learn those names, those words, just get used to it, and know the rules and figure it out. So if we have covered so much material until here, and there is an exam here, it's going to be included. So make sure that you follow that rule and do your necessary study. Unless the material is conceptual, I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining it. You write it down on pieces of papers, like make little posters, hang it by the window, hang it in your house, by your bed, hang it by the kitchen table where you spend most amount of time. Okay, just do it. Not inside your car, obviously, unless you use it as a sunshade on the right side windows, not on your windshield. Okay, we talked about that. I don't want to talk about those guys. So today I'm going to start talking about cycloalkanes. I don't think I talked about it in your class last Thursday. So we're going to talk about cycloalkanes. Okay. Cycloalkanes are going to be molecules that are not open chain, but it's cyclic. Okay. So it's going to have cyclic structure. And there will be a carbon here, carbon here, carbon here, carbon here. It's going to be all connected. So if I ask you, how many carbons, what's the minimum number of carbons you must have to make the smallest cycloalkane? How many carbons are essential to have a cyclic cycloalkane? What's that number? Speak up. Don't write on the chat.
3.
3? You can have a cycloalkane with 2 carbons? Come on. Anybody else? He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's crazy. Vincent. How many carbons do you must have to have a cyclic molecule? Speak. Come on, guys. You're not mom, right? You can speak. You have your vocal cord. I'm not trying to sound mean, but I think I sounded mean. I'm not mocking you. I'm not condescending. I'm trying to get some response out of you. I want 2 more responses. And Vincent cannot pretend that he's talking like somebody else. You cannot fake your voice. How many carbons do you must have to have a cyclic?
$2 for each one, huh?
Sorry?
Nah.
Dollars for what? $2 for each carbon? Mute yourself if you're having a different conversation with somebody else. Okay. I need some dollars actually. How many carbons you must have to have a cyclic alkane chain? I have someone answered.
6.
6. Trevor, is that Trevor? Yeah, that's the T guy. So one person says 6.
Professor, it's blurry again.
Okay, since you said, Professor, it's blurry again, you have to answer the question. How many carbons you must have to have a cyclic cycloalkane? Answer.
5.
5, just a random number because you have 5 fingers. So someone is saying 6. Vincent said 3, 4, 5. I said, what's the minimum number of carbons to have a cyclic molecule? You have been given toothpicks and bunch of toothpicks. And you're trying to form like a periphery. You're trying to form like you have a tree. And there are like some like wooden 2x4 little pieces or 2x2s. And your father has asked you, dad has asked you to make some boundary around that new plant so that the cat doesn't go, as if cat is gonna look at that, whatever, okay? How many 2x2s you need minimum number to have a little boundary around the plant? What's the minimum number of sticks to have a cyclic pattern? What's that number? Is it 2, 1, 3, 5, 6? What's the right number? Smallest cycloalkane. Anybody wants to correct their answer? Let's not spend 15 minutes on this discussion, please. This is why I never cover anything. Go around in circles. I'm going to just call it a day. I'm just going to just shut up my shop and go home. If you guys don't answer, I'll wait for like 15 seconds. If I don't hear anything, this is it. We're done. You guys need to respond. You cannot just sit there and watch. It's not a TV show.
Are you still asking about how many carbons?
I'm still asking. I've been talking for the past 10 minutes, asking you what's the minimum number of carbons you need to have a cyclic cycloalkane. Or I asked you that metaphor. You need bars to make like a cyclic pattern. How many bars do you need?
I'm agreeing with Vincent. I say 3.
Never mind. If you guys are not at all responsive, then I'm just going to teach my way. Okay. All right. Thank you. So you can have, these are 6 cycloalkanes. These 4 I'm going to talk about. See if I spell them out. This is what it looks like. Sometimes I wonder if I'm speaking English or am I speaking my mother tongue that you guys don't understand me? I don't get it. Are you guys not listening? Are you watching YouTube movies while you're sitting in front of the Zoom? I have no idea what you guys do. 3 was the right answer, by the way, Vincent. Thank you. In order to have a cycle, you need at least 3 points. This is simple geometry. Don't say that I'm not a mathematician. This is simple stuff. How many sticks, how many pens do you need to have a cycle? Can you have a cycle with 1 pen or 2 pens or 3 pens to have a cyclic something? You understand what cycle means, right? This is like a cyclic, like a complete loop. In order to have a complete loop, you need at least 3 points. Triangle is the smallest surface area covered by with a periphery, right? So it's not, there is no chemistry. So don't say that, oh, I'm not an organic chemistry person. It's not my cup of tea. It's a simple question of, I'm going to use the word whether you like it or you feel insulted, common sense. Okay, it's just common sense. If I tell you there are 10 toothpicks, and you're a kindergartner, you're a pre-kindergartner, and your uncle has asked you to make like a whole circular shape. how many toothpicks do you need? You need 3 toothpicks. Like 1, 2, and 3. Right? So you need 3 points. Is it really that difficult a question, or am I being so convoluted and hard to understand that you can answer? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand what goes on in your mind. Okay, this is the 3-member cyclic cycloalkane. This is the smallest cycloalkane. The next bigger cycloalkane will be this. Four-carbon chain. The next cycloalkane will be a pentagon. Next cycloalkane will be a hexagon. So a triangle, a square, pentagon, hexagon. Then you can have heptagons and so on and so forth. But that's pretty, we're not going to talk about that. So this guy, if they're called cycloalkane, right? The word is cyclo, 2 words, cyclo and alkane. So if you had an open chain compound, if you connect the dots, if you put these guys together, you get that. If you had this and somehow you manage to bring the ends together, tie them up, you get that. From here, you get that. And from here, you get that. And I'll give you one example how that happens. This is 3-carbon chain, straight chain molecule, right? What is this guy called? I want 3 answers. Otherwise, I'm just going to hang up and go, but this is going to be included in your next exam. Whatever cycloalkanes, and I'll ask you to read the book. What is this molecule called? 3-carbon chain, 3-carbon straight chain molecule. Tell me.
Propanol.
Propanone, propanol,
Propane.
propane. Okay.
Propane, yeah, propane.
Somebody else. Repeat what we just said. I said propane.
Propane.
Propane. Thank you.
Propane.
Okay, it's beginning a pre-kindergarten class. Propane. This is propane, right? So if I now, you can see that. Okay, let's ask you another question. What's the hybridization here and here and here? sp2, sp3, or sp? Here, here, and here. It's the same hybridization. What's the hybridization? You don't have sp? sp?
SP3.
Thank you, Vivian. sp3. What's the bond angle here?
Uh, 109.5.
109.5. Very good. Okay, so 109.5 and sp3 and ch. And if I ask you to break it down, like exactly tell me the formula. So it's CH3, CH2, CH3. Is that, does it cause any anxiety, or you guys are comfortable with that? CH3, CH2, CH3, 3 carbon, 3 hydrogens. CH3, CH2, CH3, and with stick diagram we write just a V, or like a little triangle, like a little mountain, right? Think and give me the right answer. What is inside a triangle? What does this angle look like to you? Is that 109.5 or is that something else? What is that angle looking like? What's the total angle inside a triangle? You studied it in some time in your past.
180.
180. Right?
180.
If the total angle, this plus this is 180, what's the value of this angle? What each angle?
60.
60.
Very good, thank you. What's the angle here? What does it look like? What's the angle
90.
here?
90.
Okay, we will not talk about that right now. So if I try to make a triangular cycloalkane using this starting compound, this has been given to you, and your supervisor has asked you to make a cyclic compound by making a bond between here and here. Okay, can you see, like, this is 109.5, and from 109.5 you're trying to drop down to 109.5 degrees. You're trying to drop to 60. Is it really a fun thing for this molecule to do, or is it undergoing some stress and joint pain, as I call it? So as you can tell, if I'm trying to make a bond between here and here, I need to lose a hydrogen from here, and I need to lose a hydrogen from here, okay? Because I need to make a brand new bond. And you can see how much stress this molecule goes through. 109, maybe 100, 90, less. I hope I don't break my model. Okay, this is under tremendous stress. Now I have forced it to have 60 degrees. Do you think the molecule is very happy or very unstable? Very happy or unhappy? What do you think about this molecule? It is
Is
very
unhappy.
unhappy, extremely high energy. Cyclopropane is under tremendous stress because this angle has been forced to be 60 degrees, but it wants to be 109.5, right? It wants to open up. It wants to open up, and it wants to be cyclo, it wants to be an acyclic molecule. So single chain uncyclic compounds are more stable. When you make a cyclic compound, especially with 3 carbons, it's a very unstable compound. Okay, this is bad. So this is the worst. This is really bad. Okay, this is really bad. This is because this is 60 degrees. This is 90 degrees, and this is off from 109.5 by like 20 degrees. This is off by almost 50 degrees, 40 and 9.5, 50 degrees. This is really bad. This is bad. We will see what's going on with that. Okay, so cyclo. How should you name this molecule? If the parent compound is propane and it's a cycloalkane, when you make a cyclic molecule from propane, what should you name it? Figure it out on your own. Cycloalkane from alkane, and the dad, or whatever it is, the predecessor to this evolution, the molecule was propane. So propane became a cycloalkane. What should we name it? Quick.
Cyclopropane.
Cyclopropane, thank you. So this molecule is called cyclopropane. What should that molecule be called? Cyclo what?
Butane.
Thank you. What should that molecule be called? Somebody else.
Cyclopentane.
Not Vincent. Vincent, not you. Someone else.
Cyclopentane.
Thank you. Somebody else.
Cyclohexane.
Thank you. Okay, you get the point. You get the hang of it. Sorry if I was being a little whatever. Okay, not my usual self. You know, if there is zero response, it really, I need to motivate myself too. I'm a human being. I'm doing it for money, of course. And if I lose my job, then I'll be doing something else. Very pushing a cart in downtown. Okay. Cyclopropane. What does the shape look like? What can you say about this molecule? If I ask you, what's the shape of this molecule? Is it, yeah, this is kind of tetrahedral. It's really, really screwed up tetrahedral, very sketchy tetrahedral, because this angle is supposed to be 109.5. It's highly distorted tetrahedral. Having said that, let's say it's a distorted tetrahedral. What's the overall shape of the molecule? What word comes to your mind after going through this class with me for 2 months? When an organic chemist does this, this is not like a traffic signal. It doesn't mean that, oh, your car is floating. What does it? Planar. It's a planar molecule. Very good. Thank you. Now you are waking up. Okay, so the shape of this molecule, shape is planar. Very good. Thank you. What about cyclobutane? One more. Cyclobutane, the bond angle is 90 degrees. And the molecule, again, this is pretty screwed up tetrahedron. It's not really tetrahedron because this angle is all messed up. It's supposed to be more open like this. It's supposed to be open like this. This is 109.5, but you have reduced it to 90. Okay, this molecule. What does the shape look like? What is the shape?
Planar?
Planar. Thank you, Dominique. So this is also planar. Very good. So far, so good. Let's make cyclo. What is next? Cyclopentane. Cyclopentane is a little funny. If you see that this is pentane, don't think about this bond. This is pentane. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are closing in. It didn't have to, I didn't have to struggle so much. This is all 109.5. All I had to do is close in a little bit. So the angle is slightly less than 109.5. I forgot the number. Maybe you can Google it maybe later on. Some maybe 107, 106. So it's pretty darn good. It's not under so much pressure. If you look at the shape of the molecule, you will find that it has a definite shape. 4 carbons, those 2 guys close to you and these 2 guys away from you, they are kind of planar. Okay, they're planar, and this part is kind of puckering up, like lifted up. It can also like lift down. Okay, and that can happen with any of the carbons. These 4 guys can become planar, and this guy can lift up or lift down, right? So this shape has a name, and I'll try to draw something here and see if you can recognize what the shape means. There used to be paper bags that looks like this with a little pocket inside, and there used to be, I'm mocking you guys just a little bit, okay? Don't take it, I'm not insulting you, I'm just having good fun with you. There used to be some glue here. There used to be some glue here, and people used to write stuff, you know, in the older days, like your grandparents. There used to be something called 8.5 by 11 sheets of papers, and there used to be a thing called pen, and you would write addressing someone like your grandfather or niece or nephew, maybe in a different part of the world. Then you would fold it. Then you would fold it into a folded thing. They used to be called letters, L-E-T-T-E-R, not the letter, but the letter. that you're writing a letter to your girlfriend or boyfriend or parents or grandmother, you would stick it inside, right? Then you would fold it back and it would look like this, and you would put like something called a stamp with serrated ends. Then you would write an address. Then you put it in something, it's almost looks like a trash can, but they're called like mailboxes. And magically, there'll be like a mail fairy. She would come and pick it up and drop it wherever you have written the letter to. Okay, what's this thing called?
Envelope.
Envelope. Sorry, I'm not mocking you. I'm just having a good time. I'm trying to change my mood. I was a little cocky or whatever, bad mood earlier. So if that's an envelope, if this is called an envelope, this is also called an envelope. If I say, what's the shape of a cyclopentane? You should say envelope, okay? This is the part where you lick and fold. Okay, you can't really do that. Okay, all right, so that's an envelope. And important, cyclopentane, as much as it looks like it is not planar. Make sure that you don't mess that one up. This guy is not planar. Planar, not planar. This is in terrible pain. This is in bad pain. This is in little pain. It's not that bad. Don't complain. I mean, you're close to 109.5 degrees. All right, now let's go to our favorite cycloalkane, which is cyclohexane. One more CH2. I need one more. There you go. Okay. So hexane folds one fine morning and makes cyclohexane. Looks like this. So if I draw cyclohexane in simple way from, if you look at the cyclohexane like face on, it looks like a nice hexagon. Is it planar? Yes or no? We're going to erase the board and we're going to spend a lot of time on cyclohexane from now for another maybe 15-20 minutes. If I ask you that this is cyclohexane and this is what it looks like, do you think it's a planar molecule or not planar molecule? Yes or no?
No.
Louder, be more confident.
No.
Thank you. Somebody else? Is it planar?
I would think yes.
You think yes, Trevor? Okay. Anybody else? I have one yes and one no. Planar means all the carbons are on the same plane.
Yeah, right.
Planner.
Planar. This molecule, every carbon, before I connect it, now it's hexane. Think about it like hexane. Every carbon is sp3. Tetrahedral 109.5, tetrahedral 109.5, 109.5. All the angles are 109.5. And imagine the shape of this part of the molecule here. Do you think there is a plane here and there is a plane here? Do you think that all these carbons, carbon 1, 2, 3, and 4, do you guess, do you predict that carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4, knowing what you know about hexane, this is hexane, right? I'm trying to fold it. Hexane's carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4. Do you think all those 4 carbons can be planar? They can be. They can be. I'm just going to break it up and show you what I'm talking about. Yes, if it is just butane, there can be one situation when the entire butane molecule is planar. Okay, but they can also be non-planar. 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 135, 180, 270 or something like that. I have no idea. This is another angle and this is back to 0 or 360 degrees. So if I rotate around carbon 2 and carbon 3, you get all these different shapes. And it's the same butane molecule. So considering that hexane is bigger than butane, and I'm trying to deceive you by holding it in a way that you can't tell much from its look. So when I put cyclohexane into a ring, okay, I will give you one more chance. Do you think that all the 6 carbons are on the same plane or different plane? What do you guys think?
Different plane.
Different.
Different?
Different.
Right.
Different? Okay. I'll try not to make you guys look what it looks like. So I'm going to take a snapshot of the board. It's a lot of gibberish. And then I'll take a picture and erase and then spend some time on cyclohexane. All right, let's erase. All we have discussed: cyclopropane, cyclobutane, cyclopentane, cyclohexane. Tremendous, extremely unhappy compound, 60-degree bond angle, 90-degree bond angle, little less than 109.5. We'll discuss that later. And planar, not planar, envelope, we will discuss that now, okay? So let's erase. We haven't really covered a lot today so far, but then that's, as someone said, it is what it is. Okay, so let's focus on cyclohexane now. Let's spend some time on cyclohexane. Okay, cyclohexane, cyclohexane. Okay, if I break it down, another important thing, if you see this guy, and this guy, the family of 4, CH2, 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 and this is CH2, 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 CH2. So all the corners in a cycloalkane, unless it's substituted, it's always CH2, CH2, CH2. There is no CH3 unless it's added as a substituent. So the formula, the general formula is CnH2n. Okay, CnH2n, like an alkene. We'll discuss that later. Now let's. Sorry, is it blurry? I thought it's not going to do that anymore. Okay. So looks like a planar molecule. So that's the problem with 2D representation. This is the 2-dimensional representation, and it's very deceiving.
Professor, it's blurry again.
Okay, sorry for that. It really gives you a completely messed up 3-dimensional perception of this molecule. Maybe it doesn't like my long hair. Once I turn around, it's like a bad dog, like a monkey. I've seen that in a zoo. Like you turn around, the monkey goes and slaps on the glass sheet that's separating the monkey from the visitors. Every time we would turn around and he would do that, like when I was a kid. That's when I kind of started liking monkeys. Very unpredictable. Okay. Very deceiving. It's not planar. Shall I turn it around? So this is the face-on look. If you look at it from the side, it's not planar. It's pretty different shape. If I bend it now, tilt it now, it looks like an object in your house, okay? They usually look like this. Some objects look like this. Some objects look like that, right? Some objects look like this in your house. Some objects look like this. And these objects, I'm deliberately not saying what they are, they can look kind of interesting. Like beach or by the pool, you might see something like that. So what's that object called? With four legs on the top, like a flat surface. Oval, rectangular, square, round. What are those guys called?
Table.
Thank you. That was a very difficult question. What are these guys called?
Chairs.
Thank you. So I can draw a chair. Woohoo. Okay. So how do we describe the shape of cyclohexane? Chair. Chair shape. I will teach you now how to draw a chair. It's a lot of fun. The molecule looks like this. Kind of looks like this. Okay. If you think about like how the hell it's gonna look, it's a chair. Well, you sit here. Yeah. Trying to see my picture. This is where you sit. This is where you put your legs down. This is your footrest. And this is where you lean back. That's your backrest. Backrest, your main seat, and the footrest. How do you draw it? You need to learn how to draw it. It's not that easy. I'll show you how to draw it. Okay. First thing, let's write it down because this is going to be a very sacred experience, drawing a cyclohexane chair. How to draw cyclohexane chair. Okay. Okay. Job number one. Draw a couple of parallel lines. Not that dark, just kind of like light lines. Light lines. Okay. Once you have drawn two parallel railway tracks, not right. Right lines or light lines? I have no idea. Okay. Then what you do is you draw a slanted line. This is one of your carbon-carbon bond. Got it? Draw a couple of parallel horizontal lines. If you buy one of those notebooks with parallel lines, like the lines drawn, they can really help you. Okay. Draw a line, little slanted, like I don't know. That's not 45 degrees. Let's say 30 degrees or a little more from the vertical line, okay? 30 degrees from there. Go about not twice as this long, maybe 1.5 times of this length. So if the length of this bond is about 1, then you go about halfway through, 1.5 way through. Draw another parallel line. That's your another carbon-carbon bond in a cyclohexane chair. Then what you do is you draw a slanted line starting from one of those corners. Go about not the full length, go about 60%. So if this is 1/3, This is 2/3, this will be the full length, right? You go about 2/3 that distance from between here and here. And you do the same thing by drawing a parallel line from down here. Okay, got it? 2 parallel lines, another 2 parallel lines here and here, okay? And then join the dots. It's that simple. Job number one, you draw that first, then you draw that, then you draw this, then you draw this, then you can, it doesn't matter, you just connect the dots. Maybe we should start making some pre-kindergarten drawing books where they will be drawing cyclohexane chairs. Okay. You can also draw this molecule in the opposite direction. Slanted line, up, this, join, join. There is a reason for me to draw these two guys side to side, okay? All right, this is what it looks like. Let's make sure that you guys can relate the real molecule with the drawing. This point and this point, think about it very carefully. Pay attention. Watch the video later on. I'm not trying to be a famous celebrity with the famous videos, but it's for your sake. If these 2 points are on the paper, let's write it down on a different thing. This point and this point. On board. These 2 points are on the board, okay? These 2 points are outside. These 2 points are outside, and these 2 points are behind the whiteboard. Okay, so now whatever I have written, I know that it's probably not making sense, but it should make sense now. I'm holding the 2 points that are on the surface. On board doesn't mean on board, not in that way, right? This is like literal meaning. On board, on whiteboard. It's sitting on the board. So this point and this point, these 2 points are that point and this point, okay? The blue points. And the red points are out. It's that one and this one. They're out. They're kind of protruding out. If this is the plane, if this is the whiteboard, if this is the whiteboard, now you can tell that those 2 points are sticking out. The red points, okay? And the green points back there are these 2 points, right? So this molecule, cyclohexane chair, is definitely not planar. Number one, it's not planar this way. It's not planar in any way, because it's all like jagged, like, you know, it's like down point, up point, down point, up point, down point, up point. It's like a little crown with wires connected in a way that it's up, down, up, down, up, down, and continued circle. That's the way the shape is, okay? And 2 points are on the whiteboard, 2 points are outside the whiteboard. So, you know, if I have to really draw it the correct way, I should draw it this way. This is out. No. That'll make it more complicated. So point one, another point, another point, another point, another point, another point. So this got a little screwed up. Hold on. Something like that. So if I number it, let's number this guy. Let's number this point 1, 2, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, 5, and 6. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So the way cyclohexane is drawn, these 2 points are always on the whiteboard or on your piece of paper or on your screen. And the ones that are drawn out this way, a little bit higher, lower down, they're usually sticking out. And those guys which are drawn up, they're sticking back. It's the same deal here. So over here, these 2 points are on the whiteboard, and this is out, and that's in. The one that's drawn below, those carbons are out, and the carbons that are drawn up, they're behind. Get used to it, okay? So you need to spend some time figuring out how to draw cyclohexane, okay? Now, cyclohexane has hydrogens, right? I don't have it here. So if I draw the hydrogens, right, they're everywhere. Each carbon has 2 hydrogens. Okay. Mistake. 2 colors. You will know why. I put 1 hydrogen in blue and 1 hydrogen in red. Why did I do that? Well, you will see why pretty soon. I'm going to start decorating this molecule with hydrogens, but I'm going to see how the hydrogens are kind of projected, and I'm going to put different colors. So this hydrogen, once I stick this hydrogen, it kind of points up. Is there anything else that's going to point up? Yes, this guy and this guy. Is there something? If this is a crown and this is a high point and low point and high point and low point, high point and low point, well, the high point, a hydrogen pointing up like a little antenna. Then there is a low point, there is a high point, again, a hydrogen pointing up, low point, high point. Let's get a few more blue hydrogens and let's put them in the same direction, like vertical direction. So if you look at them, 6 hydrogens are pointing up and pointing down. Okay? 6 hydrogens are pointing up and pointing down. And bunch of hydrogens are occupying the other space. Unfortunately, I don't have 6 red. I shared these. Oh, no, we do have 6 reds. Red, red, and red. Okay, you see that they look very different. They look like they're in a very different kind of an environment. 3 are pointing up, 3 are pointing down. If I look at it like a crown, 3 pointing up, 3 pointing down, three blues and 3 blues down, and the rest are kind of like sticking out toward you, okay, as I move around, okay? So when we put these hydrogens on the cyclohexane ring, one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. You must write the H at the end of the stick. If you don't write the H, what does that end of the stick mean? Unless you specify there is a hydrogen, what does it mean now? What do you, if I ask you what's there, what should be your answer? Do you think you're going to say hydrogen or fluorine or some other element? End of the stick, bend every end, and every end is a what?
Carbon.
It's a carbon. So unless you write the hydrogen, I'm going to take points off of you, assuming that you didn't know that this is not hydrogen, this is actually a carbon. So you have to write down hydrogen, 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 and hydrogen. Right? 6 hydrogens pointing up or down. 6 hydrogens, they're pointing away from the molecule. If this is a Death Star, then it's kind of like sticking out from the middle, okay, around the equator. I'll tell you why I made it sound dramatic. The way you draw it, the wrong way of drawing these equatorial bonds, bad, terrible, can be worse than. This is terrible, terrible, terrible. This is your job for the weekend, how to draw a cyclohexane and all the up and the other bonds. The bond should be written this way, parallel, not to the sticks that it's connected to, the carbon-carbon chain, but the next carbon-carbon chain. What's the next carbon-carbon chain? This bond and this bond. So this hydrogen is parallel to this line and this line. This carbon hydrogen bond will be parallel to not these two guys, but these two guys. This bond is going to be parallel to that and that. This is going to be parallel to this and this. Okay, so the blue hydrogens are called axial hydrogens, and the red hydrogens along the equator of the molecule are called equatorial hydrogens. So these guys are called equatorial, and the others are called axial. Okay, cyclohexane can do some internal rearrangement, like a dog. You know, it just gets up in the middle of the night and, you know, gets up on its little dog bed and starts spinning around. Like, you know how the dogs try to find their best location and the best direction, like Sheldon Cooper in Big Bang Theory, like, you know, no draft, not much light, and, you know, he can see everyone. So the dogs do that too. They will find their perfect orientation. So this guy can orient itself too. If you see this molecule, this is your footrest, this is where you sit, and this is your backrest, this triangle. Let me just draw that and kind of show you what exactly I'm talking about before I do the flip. Okay. Cyclohexane. So this is where you sit. Let me just put like a little nice cushion. This is where you sit. This is where you sit, and this is your backrest. And this is your, oh, what color? I'm using all these unusual colors. And this is your footrest. Okay, sit, backrest, and footrest. If you have to If you have to connect it with the model, this is what it looks like. Okay. This part is the purple part over here. That's the green part. And the lean back, this is your whatever color that is, orange backrest. Orange backrest, green seat, and purple footrest. Okay, footrest, seat, and orange backrest. Ready? So now, if you see the molecule, it can do something that no other cycloalkane can do from the list that we have covered so far. The points that I'm holding on to, they're on the whiteboard. This point can flip up, and this point can flip down. Okay? It's not just the greatness of this model. In real life, the molecules can actually flip. Okay? And it can happen in two different steps. So the footrest can go up, and it starts to not look like a cyclohexane chair anymore. It looks different. I'll ask you a little bit later. And then the other part can flip down, and then it looks different. So something radically has changed. Before it flipped, what color were the axial hydrogens? These were the axial hydrogens, right? And the red were the equatorial hydrogens. Axial hydrogens were blue. After it flipped, what happened? Before and after. Before and after. I can do this all day. I love playing with little things like mindless stuff. Before and after. Before and after. We can actually do this with your dog or cat and see how he or she reacts. Might just come and bite you.
Well, aren't they switching the axial and
Exactly, the switch, the hydrogens are switching, right? Axial is becoming equatorial, and equatorial is becoming axial. So this is called the famous cyclohexane flip. Okay, so it's not famous. So if I just show you how this flipping happens here, which way? Maybe I'll move to the left. Usually our our common convention is go from left to right, but I'm going right to left today. Okay, that's okay. So if I flip the footrest up, what does it look like? Let's do a half flip. Maybe we'll call them flip and flop. So this is what it looks like here. Okay, and the color coding, let's do the color coding. This is slightly slanted. Let's do the place where you sit. This is where you sit. This is where this is your backrest. This is your backrest. We haven't messed with that yet. All we have done so far is lifted the footrest. You lifted the footrest, and it's supposed to be what color? Purple. This is what it looks like after halfway through. And if you look at it from the side, it kind of looks like this. Does it remind you of some object that floats on water and people can use it to go from one place to another? Don't say cruise ship or like a missile or like a fighter jet carrying whatever, warship. What's the B word?
Boat.
Boat. Like goat and coat. Yeah, it's a boat. So we call, this is a chair. This is a boat. And now we just lifted the footrest. Now we're going to push the backrest down. Let's do that in the second step. Once you push the backrest down, it's going to be a little difficult for me to pull it off. Oh, it's not that bad. So this is where you sit. main cushion of the chair. And this used to be your footrest. Now it's lifted up. I have no idea what's going on with this molecule, the crazy molecule. And the other side is down. We can see it behind it. And it was, what color was it? Was it, I think it was this orange color. Okay, so now it has gone back to another chair form. After the full flip. Full flip. And this is half flip. Don't get ideas, okay? 2 exclamation signs for full flip, 1 exclamation sign for half flip. Okay, don't ask me any questions about that. Not even you, SI leader. Okay, so we went from one chair to another chair, but something screwed up has happened. Something got messed up. The backrest is now your footrest. Footrest is your backrest. It may not be approved in India because if we have a chair that can flip up and down, my mother would have told me, oh, you put your foot down there, you can't stick your head there because it's dirty. You know, you probably wore some shoes and the dust came from outside into your shoes and then you dumped it here. You're going to put your foot up there. Can you wash the chair? So every time we flip the chair, she's going to probably say that, go and Shantanu, go and wash it. Rub it with rubbing alcohol and wash it with soap and stuff like that. But you know, if you're changing your shoes, we Indians don't walk inside our house with shoes from outside because our roads are much dirtier than here. Well, now it's looking more and more like India with all the littering that's going on. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't make me happy. It makes me extremely upset when I see people drinking a cup of Coke and then throwing the cup underneath the car as if no one is going to see that. The squirrels are watching, I'm telling you. Okay, chair to chair through a board. Okay, get that? And during the time, as it flips from that to that, this is also a flip. And if we keep up on the number of carbons, this carbon and this carbon are on the whiteboard, this carbon and this carbon are on the whiteboard, these 2 are out and those 2 are in. So this is carbon 1, carbon 2, clockwise, anti-clockwise, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, if you go number it like that. So this dude, what's the numbering? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. After this guy flips, let's draw a nice molecule. 134. We still have 11 minutes left. I can't believe it. Okay, it flips. So 1 used to be kind of like a beak of a bird down. Now it's lifted up, right? Now this part is lifted up. So I'm going to number it number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And all the hydrogens are messed up. Axial hydrogens are now equatorial. How do you draw it? Parallel to this line. How do you draw it? Parallel to this line. How do you draw it? Parallel to this line. That doesn't look right. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Cannot leave it like that, assuming that I'm going to think that there's a hydrogen. There's no hydrogen. End of a stick is a carbon. Every end, every bend is a carbon. Hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. You guys really need to pay attention to what we discuss. Otherwise, you'll be like, Dr. Maitra, you didn't cover it in your lecture. Why are you asking me to put a hydrogen? It's a cyclohexane. It's CH2. No, it's not. So you guys are supposed to watch the video, not to listen to the great talks of 2020, but to learn the material. So whatever I'm talking about here, you need to really learn. The red hydrogens are now not equatorial, but they're axial. Up, 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 down, 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 hydrogen, 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 and 3 of them down here below. So axial becomes equatorial after the flip. And after the flip, equatorial becomes axial. Okay, so I'm going to take like a maybe half a minute pause and make sure you guys understand what's going on here. We primarily talked about cyclohexane ring structure and its shape. You know what? Before I take the picture, I'm just going to say that these shapes, you understand that there is no structurally they're same. If you draw it in 2 dimension, it's the same darn thing. CH2, 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 CH2. Hexagon is another hexagon. CH2, CH2. If you look at it like facing its face, it's nothing but a hexagon. CH2, 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 CH2. That's it, right? But you have no idea unless you start analyzing its 3-dimensional shape and structure. You have no idea that it's so fascinating. 6 hydrogens are one kind, other 6 hydrogens are the other kind, and this molecule can flip, and the one kind can become the other kind, right? That's the whole idea. So what are the 2 shapes before flip and after flip? What are these called? Or half flip. Half flip is the boat. Chair, boat, another chair, right? Chair, boat, other chair. Completely flipped chair, okay? So these different shapes, same structure, they're called, okay, I almost destroyed it. These 3 shapes, they're called conformation. We have used the word in the past. So the chair and the boat and the other chair, they're called, not black. Let's have a color that's going to stand out. Red. They're called conformation. Okay. This is a conformation. 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 I have not been surgically changed from swapped Shantanu with right hand here and left hand here, or right hand behind me as a tail. That might suit me better. But everything is same. All the body parts are where they're supposed to be. I'm just turning, twisting, flipping, all that stuff. Different conformations. Okay, I'm going to take a picture and we're going to switch to slightly different discussion. So this is what you are expected to know from the segment of cycloalkanes. So you see that flipping, when a molecule, a cyclic molecule can flip, like change the shape of the molecule, kind of like self-changing, self-shape changing molecules, it can be fascinating. It can be a big deal in the world of understanding molecular interaction, devising, inventing a drug, medicine, who knows what. DNAs have shape, they have conformations. RNAs have shape, they're called conformations. Proteins have conformations. Conformation means you are not changing any bond. You're not breaking a bond. You're not putting chlorine instead of hydrogen. But everything is same, but the shape changes. Sometimes the proteins can have a helical shape. Sometimes they can have a straight shape. Sometimes they can be random shape. The random shape of a protein is also becoming a big deal. The randomness of the protein in segments of the protein structure seems to be pretty important. Okay, 140. I'm going to erase the board and talk about something slightly different. So these conformations can happen from flipping. Sometimes simple bond rotation can lead to different conformations. I'm going to cut through the chase and quickly talk about that. I did take a picture. Yes, I did take a picture. So if you look at the molecule ethane, I kind of used a lot of drama to talk about that in the other class, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. But I'm going to just get to the point quickly because I really want to talk about it as much as I can before we break for the weekend, for the week. Okay. If you look at ethane, ethane has an interesting characteristic. If you think about ethane, this is ethane. One carbon, another carbon. If I draw it, in colors, all the CH bonds, let's put the blue bonds on the left side and the red bonds on the right side because I have enough red and blue colors. Okay, let's put all the hydrogens, make these hydrogens blue and make the hydrogens on the right side red. This is carbon 1, this is carbon 2. Okay, one bond is up, one bond is on the whiteboard, another bond is on the whiteboard. So if you think about this molecule, if you think about just carbon 1, and if you just think about it in 3D, this is how you can draw it. Hydrogen, hydrogen. If you think about carbon 1 as a separate entity, you can draw it like that, just turning the molecule. This is how I taught you to draw a three-dimensional tetrahedral sp3 carbon, right? If you think about it in the past, this is how we do it. And you can do the same business for carbon 2 on the right-hand side separately. Let's do that first before we join the molecules. So this molecule carbon 2, let's draw the red hydrogen toward carbon 1 and this red hydrogen and a wedge sticking out and behind the whiteboard. And this is carbon number 2. So when we join them, this hydrogen has to be kicked out and this red hydrogen has to be kicked out to make a brand new bond between carbon 1 and carbon 2. You guys probably understand that now. And the 3 hydrogens on the carbon number 2, they stick out to this right side that way, okay? 143. So let's try to build a model for that very quickly. Three blue hydrogens on the left side and 3 red hydrogens on the right side. And the whole point here is that the carbon-carbon bond can rotate. So carbon 1, carbon 2, okay? Not too difficult to understand to connect the dots. On the whiteboard, out, in, behind, in front, and on the same plane, right? So if you now look at the molecule down carbon 1, carbon 2, if you look down that bond, if you look at it from the side, it looks very different. Okay, it looks very different now. And if I turn the molecule, it looks even more different. It looks very weird, right? This shape and this shape, they're different. So what do you think the relationship between this shape and this shape is? What do you think? What are they? Are they different structures? Are they isomers? If they're isomers, what kind of isomers? What word can you use to describe this form and this form? It's a C word. You have already learned it just now. Like 3 minutes ago, you learned the word for cyclohexane chair, the flip chair, and the boat. We used a word to describe them when it's the same structure but different shape.
Confirmation.
Confirmation. So this is a confirmation. This is another confirmation. Okay. Or if you have to name this specific confirmation, and if you think about a natural event, when in the middle of the day, the whole world becomes kind of dark because the moon has come in between the sun and you and the earth. We use an E word. What's that E word?
Eclipse.
Eclipse. So this confirmation is called eclipse. This confirmation is kind of like, I don't know if you have seen it, when a bunch of motorcyclists ride in a group on the same road. They go like one guy here, another guy here, then the second guy here. They don't go parallel. They kind of like, it's a S word. One guy, second, third, fourth, like an S shape. Staggered. So this, very good. This shape or conformation is called staggered. So as the carbon-carbon single bond rotates, it goes through eclipse, staggered, eclipse, staggered, eclipse, staggered. As it's spinning around, they go through this different conformations. Which one you think is better energetically? If there are African killer bees, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, which conformation has them further away? Eclipse or staggered? Which one looks like the distance is increasing between them? Eclipse, staggered. Which one is better? Is this closer now or is this closer now? Which distance is, if this is staggered and this is eclipse, which one is you think energetically happier? Eclipse or staggered?
Eclipse.
Sorry?
Eclipse. Wait.
This is eclipse.
Yes.
This is eclipse. Okay.
It's the shortest distance.
Is shorter distance better situation for keeping the African bees happy, or you want them to be furthest away? So which one is more stable or happier? Eclipse or staggered? Imagine that they hate each other. All the 6 African killer bees, they absolutely hate each other. They're trying to be furthest away from each other. So is this
Staggered.
So staggered is more stable conformation. So we're going to continue this discussion. I'm going to switch to alkene and alkyne coming week, and we're going to go through them pretty fast and then start talking about stereochemistry. That's the plan right now. Okay. There is some conceptual material here, so I kind of slowed down a little bit, but I'm probably going to pick up some speed. So make sure that you guys watch the videos through the weekend. I'm going to set up some office hours in the weekend after I come back tomorrow night. And if I have energy, then Saturday, then otherwise other time. Find some time. I'm going to try to set it up in a strange, weird time so that you guys hopefully are not working. Okay, I'll figure it out. In a very general manner, in the weekend, would you guys prefer the morning of Saturday or evening of Saturday? Say something. I'm not looking at the screen, neither I'm reading the chat. Morning of Saturday is better for
Evening.
Morning, or how many of you think it's morning? Speak up. You can say morning or you can say night.
Morning.
Okay.
Morning.
Night.
Close to the afternoon.
Night.
Thank you. Thank you for making my life more colorful and interesting. I'll figure something out. I will record it, whatever I do, so you will have that recording. Okay, so it's not going to be like secret talk. If you really want to tell me your life secrets, then we'll have to set up something differently. No, seriously, if you're not comfortable talking in front of other people, then we can have like a half-an-hour meeting, and that's also fine. Just make sure you tell me what you want. Otherwise, I'll set up like a general office hours during the weekend. Okay. Take care. Have a good weekend. Thanks for keeping me alive and maintain my sanity. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a good weekend. Be safe.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Any questions, Angelus?
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Take care. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. Bye.